Oh, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy you're here. This is a Tuesday evening and another spiritual mind healing service. I'm Carol Charlton, practitioner. I welcome you all, and I'm so happy that you have made the time to share with us this evening. But as we do in all things, we begin with prayer. And we recognize that right here, right now, there's only one presence, one power, one mind. The omniscient, omnipresent. We call God. It is that which has pulled us here together this evening to share our consciousness in this event we call a spiritual mind healing service. It's a moment in which we pause to reflect on the greater truths of life, which set free. And so we're grateful now for the insights, for the inspiration, for the participation of each and every one, knowing fully well that our experiences will never be the same from this moment on. And so we prepare to relax, to let go, and to open our hearts, our spiritual eyes, and our minds. And as we do so, we give abundant thanks that all this is already so. And we can only just now watch it manifest in our experience. As we release this word to that law that transforms our thoughts, our experiences, our words into the reality of our lives. And so it is. So, again, I thank you all for being here. And I'm just going to ask you now to close your eyes and pause for a few minutes, taking with you the thought, I am awake, I'm alert, I'm aware. Awake, alert, and aware. Awake, alert, and aware. Open your eyes now and let us return to this space. So last month, Reverend Michelle titled one of her talks, Don't Go Back to Sleep. And as she spoke, it awakened in me to my having similarly titled a Tuesday evening talk many years ago, I think about 2014, based on the Rumi poem titled Don't Go Back to Sleep. Sandy, perhaps
yes,
you can share on the screen for me.
Vance, can you allow me to share, please? Okay. Just give me a minute, Carol.
Yeah, oh yes. We won't go back to sleep. Okay, now. So, the breeze, don't go back to sleep. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. It was Judy Grant, some of you may remember, who shared these verses with me during a workshop, a group during a group work at one of our August retreats many years ago. And I was immediately struck by the relevance of the command, if you will, don't go back to sleep, to my daily practice. And at the time, I decided I would use them as a reflection for my next opportunity to speak at a spiritual mind healing service. And I remember jotting down some thoughts. And then when I was ready, I couldn't find them. And then about 3 years later, I found them. And now Reverend Michelle has revived them in me again. The essence of these verses, to my mind, is that once you have become awakened to truth, to love and to beauty, and to the God being that you are, to the joy and the peace that there is available to you, there is always more work to do. And the call is to remain awake and alert and don't go back to sleep. We've only just begun. Perhaps you're aware of that truth, what we call the truth student syndrome. Oh yes, we have a challenge. And we get practitioner help, or we come to one of these meetings. Please treat for prosperity. Please pray for health. Please pray for the right perfect job for me, or the right perfect mate, or the house, or any of the myriad needs or wants that our humanity requires to be satisfied. And that great breakthrough occurs. That miraculous healing takes place. That perfect job, the house, the man, the woman. And we shout for joy about our demonstration. Yes, we've got it. It works. But have we? What happens when the next seemingly more complex challenge looms? Can we draw from that situation? Can we draw strength from that situation? Or do we buckle under it? Did we go to sleep after having heard the secrets of the breeze at dawn? That opening that said to us there is one power and presence, that one source which is God, or that breeze that said, that assured us that the joy of the Lord is my strength, or the affirmation that God is all there is, or that I am one with God's abundance, wisdom, and right action, expressing in, through, and as me. Or did we go off to sleep in a drunken stupor, if you wish, smugly feeling that we have achieved the ultimate? And now, what happens if it doesn't work? In our life, sleep, complacency has no place. As our erstwhile teacher often used to remind us, we are in a school, and if we don't absorb the lessons, we may have to keep repeating them until the truth we need to know is fully embedded as consciousness. Because that really is what our work is about, to live in the consciousness of God. This path that we have chosen requires vigilance. It's a never-ending story of growth and unfoldment. We just can't go back to sleep. Stagnation, sleep, complacency means death. And I recall some time ago, Reverend Sonia reminding us that stagnation is not consistent with the spirit of life, which is an ever-moving flow from which we cannot be separate. I should have quoted that directly, that quote, stagnation is not consistent with the spirit of life, which is an ever-moving flow from which we cannot be separate, end quote. So remember the parable of the 10 virgins? The overall and easily seen thrust of that parable is that the spiritual life requires constant preparedness, which translates as continuous work to ensure connectivity with our indwelling God or good. You know, all may become a revealer of this truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. It's not that there's an absence of God, but we have this duty to maintain that clear and open channel in consciousness. And Dr. Seal, who did a commentary on all the parables, including this one, interprets this one for us as follows. Each of us is a person of 10 senses. And like the 10 virgins, we go forth to meet the bridegroom, or the ideal life to which we seek to be joined. We seek to meet, to marry, and to be indissolubly united with the highest and best kind of understanding and experience, end quote. And as seen in the fact that all the virgins were sleeping when the call came, we may be working, eating, sleeping, or pursuing leisure activities. Whatever it is, we must be doing it in such a way that we don't have to make things right. That is, we don't have to get more oil. Again, remember, our Reverend Elmer used to remind us that we cannot practice for a crisis in the crisis. The 5 virgins who have the extra oil represent the truly committed consciousness, which is prepared for whatever occurs, be it lengthy time or adverse circumstances. The 5 virgins without the oil represent that part of us which has gained an insight, into the joys of the spiritual path by reading a book, listening to a wonderful talk, taking part in a stimulating workshop, or attended some forum where things of a spiritual nature were explored and discussed. Usually what we have heard strikes a deep chord somewhere within us, and we know we are onto something and figure that we've got it. We've solved the problems. We're riding high on the spiritual path. We look to things spiritual to gain an understanding of life, enjoy the benefits of the intellectual stimulation, and we're carried away by the thrills of the party rather than the joy of seeing the bridegroom. Indeed, some hope that by perfunctory practice, coming to church now and then, meditating now and then, will put us all in good stead. But the kingdom of heaven is about consciousness, not a physical place that we can visit and view grandiose architectures and galleries and so forth. It's neither low here or low there. It is that place within us, which is the source of all our good, in which love and peace and beauty and light and all the attributes of God have their origin. It is the perfection and wholeness that is ours by right of being. And it is our duty to locate that place and center our life in it and to make it our home. We can't go back to sleep. We don't take it for granted. This is a daily renewal exercise. It is keeping the high watch on our thoughts about being vigilant, how we react to events in our lives, the words we speak, the thoughts we habitually think. That milestone marked by finding that right, perfect job. We can't go back to sleep on that breakthrough in right action. I have a friend who had a serious medical challenge while she was abroad. And she shared with me how after she got over it, how she would write down her issues on a sheet each day, which she placed in a box over which she prays each morning until they are resolved. That way, she has worked through many challenges. And in our most recent chat, I found it necessary to jot down something she said. It takes practice to maintain your spirituality and rituals to keep you focused. Form good habits and be a slave to them. I am a slave to the ritual of daily prayer, she said. She also shared with me the value of journaling in order to capture the phases in her recovery to talk to herself, because she lives alone and experience it as talking to God. Consistency is the name of the game. We can't go back to sleep. So what I'd like you to do now is to engage in a little discussion around some of the practices in which we can engage or which we have used so that we don't go back to sleep, so that we listen to the secrets of the breeze at dawn. Or you may feel free to ask for what we really want and contemplate the things of spirit. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. So let's is there anybody willing to share any practice, any ritual that enables them to stay awake, spiritually awake?
You know, Carol,
Yeah,
you talk about the breeze at dawn.
yes.
That is like, for me, dawn is my most fertile time.
Oh, yes.
Not quite dawn because I'm inclined to want to stay in bed a little
Mhm.
beyond the dawn. But my early morning, I'm like a, 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 a womb that is just ready for the fertilized egg to be embedded in it. It's like my consciousness is just ready to be guided for the message for the day, for what spirit tell me I must do, for the answers that come with my for my requests, the questions I asked the night before. So the morning, I go to bed at night and the ritual is, what do I need to know? How do I
Mm.
resolve this problem? I ask a question as part of the ritual, and the next morning, come hell, come high water, the answer is there.
Yes. Yes. I'm not quite going to share that kind with you, but there's one I have that I use to comfort and reassure me of the presence of God around me. I'm showering and I just know that in that space I am surrounded and covered. I feel the water as the water is flowing over me, that I am protected and guarded by that power and that presence. I feel that love, light, and joy of the Lord sweeping over me as I get ready to face my day. And I find those bath times emerging from them, I feel cleansed and whole.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes. So there's so many I'm sure the other people listening have their own little practices, their own little rituals that that they adhere that they practice from one day to the next that help them to watch and pray as they say somewhere in the Bible, that enable us to pray without ceasing, because it is these little practices, the meditation, the prayer, the reading, the journaling that really keeps us on track, because we really can't afford to go back to sleep once we have been enlightened to that truth that really sets us free. There's a parable of the sower where the sower scatters seeds that falls on different types of ground. And the hard ground by the wayside prevents the seed from sprouting, and it becomes nothing more than bird food. The stony ground provides enough soil for the seeds to germinate and begin to grow, but there's no deepness of earth. The plants do not take root and are soon withered. The thorny ground allows the seed to grow, but the competing thorns choke life out of the beneficial plants. The good ground receives the seed and produces much fruit. I'm citing this parable simply to demonstrate that our growth in the spiritual realm is a work of perpetual awareness. We can't go back to sleep. And perhaps you may believe that all you need is knowledge of spiritual principles. It's You have to buttress it with practices that allow you to keep awake, alert, and aware. We must remain awake to a consciousness of God, of love, of peace, and light. We are the ones who will discover and choose the means to establish our intimate relationship with Spirit. How then can we go back to sleep?
When Adam and Eve, starting with Eve, when she ate the apple, and Adam took a piece, no pun intended. And they were described as awakened at the level of the blissful experience in the garden.
Yep.
expanded,
Mm-hmm.
and they were now privy to the ways of the world.
Yes.
And it's like this thing of going back to sleep. I see that two levels, because there are some things that we ought not to see, some things that our children are seeing that they ought not to see that, so they should be asleep to those things. Because some
Mm,
things, when you see them, you can't unsee them.
yeah.
And then there's another set who, when we are exposed to truth, it opens up a fierce hunger for
Mhm.
more. It's like you're on a perpetual high and hunger being hungry and thirsty after righteousness.
Yes, indeed.
Just want more.
Yes. And the thing is, we can never think that that thirst, that wanting is ever fully satisfied, because the more you know, the more there is to know. There is, it's not a place you cannot stagnate. It's not a place that you arrive at and you stop. You just have to keep opening new vistas. So as responsible beings, we just have to pay attention, sorry, to the direction of our thoughts. We have to scan our thought patterns daily to make sure they are working for our good. They are keeping us on that path, because that really is our purpose for being, to establish a consciousness of God as our lives. So, thank you all for listening.
YouTube. Okay.
So then now our
Carol, I'm just you can engage a little more. Let me just go and check
yes, that's
YouTube.
if there's any comments or anything that
Oh, it seemed as if I deleted my WhatsApp, my email. All right, let me just get this. But it would be really interesting to hear from some of the other persons in the room, their perspective on this topic.
Carol, while Sandy's looking, I'm just reading Steve from YouTube. He said, don't go back to sleep, literally, in the early morning, invariably leads to revelations that maybe William says, certainly, he has found that he would not have thought of it later on.
He would not have what?
Later on.
Things come to him when he gets that little second seed. Is that right? Is that what he's saying?
No, things come to him early in the morning.
It's the opposite of what he said. That if he stays awake, when he get up first thing in the morning, that's when he gets revelations rather than going back to sleep.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
I'm not getting onto YouTube, Vance.
Okay, Sandy. Well, that's the only comment on YouTube so far.
When Reverend Michelle spoke about 2 weeks ago, she spoke there was a slightly different she was speaking about, well, it's the same thing, but she was speaking about it in the context of newness and being encountering some new pattern, some new way, and maintaining yourself in that mode. So she encouraged us not to go back to sleep now that things are happening that are new and different. That's another way we could go back to sleep, by slipping back into our old ways. Well, however we look at it, not going back to sleep means not hanging on to that which is past, or or hanging on to something now that our eyes are open to new and fresh ways of doing things. New, our change your thinking, change your life. Once we have changed our thinking and our life has changed, we can't go back to that old mode of thought. And so we just have to keep scanning our thoughts every day and ensuring that we are not slipping back into where we didn't want, where we are coming from. Yeah.
Tell me when you're ready for the
Yes. So
and I don't see any requests so far.
Okay, so shall I? Okay, I'm just going to take the opportunity to pray for light and illumination, as I recognize now that God is light, and that light surrounds us, each of us. It surrounds each of us. It is that space in which we dwell. It is that space in which we come awake to the truths of life. That enable us to see new vistas, to embrace the path of growth and unfoldment. It is that which opens our eyes to new perspectives. And as we maintain our contact with that light, it gets bigger and bigger as we allow, we begin to discern more and more of truth. We get a greater understanding of how to conduct ourselves in every area of our lives. And because of that light, because of the illumination that comes to us in that space, we are able to surmount seeming difficulties. We are able to bring greater understanding, greater clarity, not only to ourselves, but with those with whom we interact on a daily basis. That light is our signature. That light is what we carry with us wherever we go. That light is that which refreshes us and keeps us awake, aware, and alert as we pursue this unending path of growth and unfoldment. And so I give thanks now that each and every one of us present in this talk, in this forum, or who is open and receptive thereto, grows into a clearer and greater understanding of themselves and their relationship with spirit. For this light can never be put out. This light is growing and glowing in intensity in our hearts and our minds. And knowing this, I gratefully and joyously release this word to law and declare that it is so now. And so it is.
So it is. I have requests of help and wholeness for Yvonne, Dawn, and Julia. Health and wholeness, Yvonne, Dawn, and Jodian.
Rodian, yeah.
Mhm.
Big.
Hmm.
God is health. In that health, we are whole. We are perfect. We are complete. I know this for myself. I know this for each person within the sound of my voice, and in particular, Yvonne, Dawn, and Julia. And so I declare that wholeness, that perfection, ours by right of being, is now fully expressing in these persons. From the crown of their heads, through every nerve, sinew, atom, system, and function of their bodies. That spirit of wholeness is now reverberating, is now asserting itself and making its presence felt, eliminating every thought of discomfort or dis-ease or anything, any perception of anything other than that which is whole, perfect, and complete. There is release, perfect release. And the comfort of knowing that this word is the word of illumination and the establishment of that spirit of vibrant, robust health in each person. I give thanks now for the health now expressed. The health that is now sizzling through each of these persons. And I release this word, knowing that it is already fulfilled. And I give thanks that this is so. And so it is.
So it is. Also, love for Dawn.
God is love. Each of us is an expression of that love. As we acknowledge that spirit of love, that presence of love, is that which has brought us into being to give full expression to itself. That love fills our hearts, fills our hearts with the joy and goodness of being, fills our hearts with affection and care, not only for ourselves, but for each other expression of that love that we encounter in all our interactions. Because we know that in each face, that love is being expressed. That face is the expression of love. That each heart is filled with compassion and understanding. This is the truth we express as we go about our business with each other. Love enables us to experience joy and harmony. Love inspires us to give and to give of ourselves freely. That love comforts us. And allows us to experience the peace at the center of our being. And as we feel that peace, we each know that we are in love with love, as expressions of love, loving, lovable, and loved. And so we give thanks that the healing activity of love is that which fills our hearts, our minds, our relationships, and soothes and calms us in every situation. As we acknowledge that there is nothing to fear. There's only love to know. And in that knowledge, we safely dwell as I release this word, knowing that love is our experience. And we can't go back to sleep on it. We live in a space of love. And I give thanks now that this is so. So it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Carol.
Welcome, Dawn.
You have a little birdie in your garden.
Who, me?
Yeah, I was looking inside my room to see how a birdie gets in here.
No, they're singing outside there. They're singing all night there. I sit down most days and nowadays I sit down outside there and I hear them different harmonies all over the space.
Oh wow. It felt so close. I was looking around to say, how a little birdie get in here?
No, they're outside.
Yes. Are you ready to go ahead with the
next?
Yes.
What is it now? Our
yes, notices and so on.
Yes.
So let me just share this quickly, Carol.
Please.
And you can do the rest. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday, the 28th of April, we're going to be having a practitioners forum. And this is going to be on Practitioners Sunday. And we are going to be providing the practitioner service for anyone who requests that service after our Sunday morning service. We will be sharing some information on the work of the practitioners, as well as being available to provide treatment, affirmative prayer for healthy mind, body, and spirit, for clarity of direction, success and abundant living, expanding awareness, personal transformation, or anything else that your heart might be urging you to embrace. One of us will be here will be at Temple to provide that service for you. So we do invite you to save the date and spend on half an hour extra with us on Sunday morning to avail yourself of the service of a practitioner. Okay. Carol, you want to take this or shall I continue?
Okay, so that's now Lifeline, which will be on April 25th at 6 p.m. And you know, Lifeline is an hour of connectivity, levity, love, and laughter. And the topic now is going to be CSL, now and beyond. What's your role? That's a question that we're going to be looking at. And so we're going to be looking at what is CSL now, where we're going, how can I participate in its mission? And the answers to these questions will be dealt with by our senior minister, Reverend Michelle Senegal, and our very special guest, who is our spiritual leader, Reverend Sony Cantrell Smith. Reverend Smith is the founding minister of the Harper Center for Spiritual Living in Lexington, Kentucky, and she has credentials here that she's a graduate of the Holmes Institute, and she was ordained in 2011. And she's steeped in the principles of science of mind and is a lifelong student of the philosophy and teaching. So join us on YouTube. There you'll learn more and understand more of who we are and what you can do when you understand what we are about. And then, okay, you can go with this one too.
Oh, okay. Well, the prayer work that we do is fundamental to the quality of life that we live. Reverend Michelle is going to be doing a workshop on Saturday, May 11th at 10 a.m. Entitled, This is How We Pray. And so we come at 10, we have some powerful engagement, and we'll have Sean's soup at lunchtime, and we will complete at 4. And so the expectation is that you leave with the confidence to create your own reality consciously. With an investment of $2,000, it really is a powerful choice that we can make on our spiritual journey to learn how to pray effectively. And so we invite you to sign up now, give the office a call and let them know your intention to be part of this experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me too, Carol, or are you going?
All right, I think this is the last one. If you have any legal questions, come. There's a legal team that will be able to provide you with some answers or put you on a path. And those people, at the Temple of Life. And this is on May 4 and May 18 from 11 to 1. The team promises to take care of legal matters for daily living and the afterlife, estate matters. Save the dates. This is so important for each and every one of us to make things tidy and to put things in order. So now, if you feel moved to support our ministry, you may feel free to donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. We are always grateful for your participating in the life of our temple in this way. We thank you for your generosity. And together, we work to remain a beacon of light for the world. So now, time for blessing our love offering. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper and enrich everyone whom you touch and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father. So it is. And finally, the prayer for a center. Please join me now. The Temple of Life, Center for Spiritual Living, is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate, to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And so it is. Let us now prayerfully bless our island, Jamaica, as we say, the radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind. Love, harmony, goodwill, peace, brightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. So I thank you all for participating in this another Spiritual Mind Healing Tuesday evening. And remember now, we can't go back to sleep. We have work to do. And before you go, let me just close. We are so grateful for this moment. We are grateful for each other, to each person who has contributed their consciousness to this interlude that we've spent together. We know that it is a moment of growth and unfoldment, and that we commit to remaining awake, alert, and aware as we pursue this spiritual path. Our eyes have been opened to the truth that sets free, and we commit to stay awake, to stay alert. And we give thanks now that Spirit supports us on this journey and strengthens us for each step that we take, fills our vessels with the oils that enable us to keep our lamps burning. We give thanks now that this is so.
And so it
is. Amen.